This is Donald Trump's smirking revenge. Or as Chris Cuomo puts it, revenge rampage. Others have called it retaliation or illegal retribution. Since the end of the impeachment trial, Donald Trump has moved to clean house, removing over 70 people from the National Security Council, including the Vindman brothers. He recalled Gordon Sondland. And now Bill Barr over at the DOJ is making some pretty heavy moves. He recommended a lighter sentence for Roger Stone, which has Democrats furious, demanding an investigation and calling for the potential impeachment of Bill Barr himself or the second impeachment of Donald Trump. Now Bill Barr is ordering an outside prosecutor to review the Flynn case because presumably, or as many people believe, there was some foul play involved. See, Bill Barr was appointed for a few reasons. According to the press, one of those reasons was that some of the prosecutors Mueller brought in had made political donations to Hillary Clinton. Now, I can't tell you exactly what's going on right now with these major moves, but I do have some ideas as to why they're happening now. I think Donald Trump's actually been planning this since he got elected, but there were a few roadblocks in his way. The fake Russiagate investigation had to stop. And as soon as it did, what did we then see? Well, while there were some moves from Trump, eventually impeachment came up. And now with the Ukraine-gate scandal, Donald Trump was once again constrained. In fact, before the impeachment, many people were calling on the intelligence community to constrain Donald Trump, to stop him from purging what he and his supporters call the swamp. I want to walk you through some of the latest details. You see, Chris Cuomo over at CNN lays it out as though it's a nefarious mafioso type deal. I'm not so sure. I think that's a bit of a biased approach. Now, I'm not going to say that Donald Trump is right or that he's innocent, but I don't think what we're really seeing is some corrupt action by Donald Trump to dismantle government. I think we're seeing political factions warring, and I think we're seeing the internal civil war within our own government. Now, civil war may be heavy-handed. I don't really know what else to call it. But let's dive deep into what's going on with Donald Trump's purging of the swamp or the deep state, whatever you want to call it. And we'll take a look at some of the latest moves from Bill Barr and why Democrats are so angry with him. And I want to show you why I think they're lying to you. We'll start with a story from Mediaite. But before we do, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There are several ways you can give. The best thing you can do is just share this video, hopefully break some echo chambers. And I also notice a lot of people don't subscribe. If you do watch my content and you want to see more like it, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. It really does help. But let's now read the story. Revenge rampage. Chris Cuomo brutally dissects Trump's Godfather-style week of score settling after acquittal. They report CNN's Chris Cuomo offered up a brutal day-by-day dissection of President Donald Trump's week-long score-settling campaign since the impeachment acquittal. After teasing a segment on Trump's revenge rampage, Cuomo began by ridiculing the credulous Republican senators who justified their acquittal vote by suggesting Trump had learned a lesson from his impeachment. This notion has proved so wrong so fast that Senator Collins is pretending it never happened. Just today, her quote, "I don't understand why you keep linking how I voted to whether or not the president's learned to be more careful." I want to point out something I'm doing right here. I'm going to be using a lot of sources that frame everything as though Trump is doing something wrong for a reason, because I'm going to show you the contrasting evidence that suggests they're falsely framing the story. But let's move on. And again, I'll stress, I'm not here to say I know exactly what's happening within the government, but I certainly think what we're seeing from CNN, from Vox, from Mediaite, from all these other outlets is overt bias to protect their establishment. They don't like Trump. They don't like Bernie. And while Bernie and Trump both don't like each other to a certain degree, and the supporters don't, there's a big difference between the elite establishment and the populist movement. Now, let's see what Chris Cuomo had to say. He starts by saying on Wednesday, the day Trump was acquitted, his attorney general shut down any FBI or DOJ investigation of a presidential campaign unless he signs off, specifically declaring off limits any cases involving illegal contributions, donations, or payments by foreign nationals. Literally, Trump made himself investigation proof. I don't know. Did he? Bill Barr says Trump has never asked him for anything. And Bill Barr, it's my understanding, as the story was reported in the New York Times, was talking about what happened with Comey in 2016, when Hillary Clinton had the whole email investigation and how many people believed that swung the election for Trump. So perhaps it's actually to help them. I don't know. It's not being framed that way. On Thursday, His Treasury armed Republican allies with sensitive financial records to target Hunter Biden. Exactly what he was accused of engineering abroad. Or perhaps, from the other side, Hunter Biden is corrupt. The media has claimed he's been corrupt for a very long time. And many people have questions about why he was receiving $83,000 per month to work on the board of a Ukrainian energy company when he had no real experience in that country. Perhaps they're doing a real investigation. I wonder why, when all of these investigations started, Chris Cuomo didn't say the exact same thing about Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton. And that's the point. While I'm definitely, for the millionth time, not saying Trump is innocent, I'm saying, look, they did the same thing. And I'm going to show you. Let's read on. On Friday, he fired Vindman and Gordon Sondland and his brother. He also, they said it was just awkward to keep them. That would prove to be a lie. Trump didn't just fire Vindman. He fired like 70 people. It was just a purge. On Monday, the defense that Rudy Giuliani is doing his own thing has no real influence in the government. Remember that? Was revealed to be a sham. Always was. The attorney general now confirming Giuliani is funneling them whatever dirt he digs up in Ukraine. The Democrats like to accuse Trump of what they're doing. So when Joe Biden did a quid pro quo to fire a prosecutor who did have an open investigation into Burisma, and that's a fact. They say it was dormant, but it was an open investigation. They accused Trump of trying to get a quid pro quo. It's something we often see in the media as a defense. Accuse your opponent before they accuse you, because as the saying goes, whoever calls the cops first wins. On Tuesday, the DOJ bowed to Trump's desire to go easy on his pal Roger Stone, who was convicted of lying by a jury, and the commander-in-chief called for the military to pursue charges against Vindman for telling the truth. Except Bill Barr says Trump never intervened, and Bill Barr actually criticized Trump, saying, "Stop tweeting, it's making it hard for me to do my job." We've got a few updates here. First, Bill Barr is bringing in an outside prosecutor to review the FBI's investigation of Donald Trump advisor Mike Flynn after row over intervention in Roger Stone case. Why is Flynn why are the charges and the pursuit of Flynn so heavy-handed? It's always confused me because certainly there's been many people who have lied who are not being charged. One of the reasons I don't think this is a mafioso Godfather-like move, and I think there's legitimacy to the claim Trump is cleaning up corruption, or at least partisan bias in these institutions, is that right now the DOJ is not going to be going after Andrew McCabe, and Trump supporters are angry about it. But Mike Flynn they're going after him, even though his defense released documents showing that some of them may have been manipulated. In which case, should he have even pled guilty in the first place? Probably not. Let's move on, though. For this, Sally Yates blasts Trump for using DOJ as personal grudge squad. Trump always wanted to drain the swamp, and he's doing it now. But I go back to what I said in the beginning. I'm curious as to what was really going on with the Russiagate investigation, because as we now know, some of those FISA warrants were bad, meaning Crossfire Hurricane, that famous operation that, launched into investigating the Trump campaign before he was even in office, before he was elected. It was a bunk investigation for the most part. Now, the Horowitz report said that there was a legitimate reason to investigate, whatever. The reason I'm bringing this up is, why didn't Trump drain the swamp as soon as he got in office? I mean, honestly, he could not. When he fired Comey, that's when everything went nuts. That's when they decided to launch a special prosecutor, and they put us through years of Russiagate insanity, which was all fake news. The whole thing was bunk. And now Trump is finally getting what they're calling his revenge. With Bill Barr coming in, they're now angry, saying it's his stooge, his lackey. They want Barr impeached. Unfortunately, Trump's the president, and it seems like he's going after these holdovers, these permanent employees. And the media has been going after him for it. Check out the story from Vox. Trump's purge. President Trump's interference with Roger Stone's sentencing shows the real lesson he took from impeachment, that he has impunity. Trump can fire whoever he wants. These people serve at the pleasure of the president. I believe it was Obama who bolstered the National Security Council. But Trump couldn't really fire a whole lot of people when they were investigating him in the Russiagate nonsense, and he couldn't do it during Ukrainegate either. So finally, we get an end to the Russiagate insanity. Trump starts actually making some moves, as we can see here from a CNN story from August. Trump's purge of his own national security team is almost complete. Now, I get it. These people were Trump's people. But Trump was trying to find people loyal to him, whether you like it or not. And he was firing people who contradicted him and who he didn't like. Because like Obama said, you need unity and loyalty in the administration to make it function properly. What did they say back in August? That dynamic has flipped now. People are seeing the intelligence community not as something that should be constrained, but something that should constrain the president. That's kind of weird. Donald Trump is the duly elected president. He's supposed to serve because he was elected to do so. Why would the unelected intelligence agencies be seen as something that needs to constrain the president? Clearly, you can see the conflict between Trump and the intelligence community. Unfortunately for Trump, someone in the intelligence community started the whole impeachment process, and now Trump can't do anything about it, at least while impeachment is going on. That's why when impeachment ended, Trump makes his move. I'll point out, I can't actually tell you the name of the individual who was reported to have been colluding with one of Adam Schiff's staff members. This is reported by Real Clear Investigations, certified by my NewsGuard as a legitimate news organization. That said, multiple sources confirm a man I cannot name. Years ago, working with another man named Sean Misko, were talking about how they would remove the president by any means necessary. That man Misko then joined Adam Schiff's staff, then gave advice to this whistleblower, who I can't name, and that was used as a pretext to launch the Ukraine Gate investigation of Donald Trump, once again putting his moves on hold. Trump has been constrained every step of the way. A lot of people might think that's a good thing, but Trump wanted to drain the swamp and get rid of these holdovers, many of whom have resigned. But let me show you something. First, they're now saying that Trump installs loyalists to top jobs after impeachment purge. Well, obviously, I don't think that really matters. You get the point. But let's talk about Bill Barr and why they don't like him, adding to that previous point about the holdovers and why Trump wanted them purged. The Nation is now going after Bill Barr, saying Bill Barr is even worse than you realize. The attorney general is on a tear, shredding the rule of law just as he threatened he would. Or this story. Roger Stone's prosecutors quit, so did American democracy. These are people who are demanding that Bill Barr be removed or Trump be impeached again. Why was Bill Barr brought on? According to some sources, which have been aggregated on Wikipedia, they say the first was that Bill Barr supported Trump's firing of Comey on May 9th, 2017. Second, he questioned the appointments of some of Mueller's prosecutors due to political donations they had made to the Clinton campaign. Third, he alleged there were conflicts of interest of two appointees to the special counsel team, Jenny Rhee and Bruce Orr. Whether you agree or disagree, doesn't matter. That's why he was brought on. Trump wants to get rid of conflicts of interest. That's the only perceivable fact I think that I can actually make. Now, in my opinion, I can say Trump is annoyed by these people who are coming after him and obstructing him. That's fine, but that's an opinion. The fact is, these are the things Bill Barr has actually said. Or I shouldn't say they're facts, but the most likely reasons that people have claimed. I do think there's an important point to be made. Mueller's prosecutors made political donations to the Clinton campaign. That's right. I agree with Bill Barr. They should not have been appointed. In which case, it seems like Bill Barr is actually, he is trying to seek out and remove partisan political bias within these various organizations in government. Makes sense. For this, they want him removed. The battle that's going on, I've talked about the political street clashes and things like that, but I'll tell you, it really does feel like there's an active civil war in government. And I don't necessarily know why or how it's going to play out, but most people don't know one important thing. And this was surprising to me. Did you know that Bill Barr, what's surprising to me is people didn't know this. Bill Barr is the 77th and 85th Attorney General. He was the Attorney General in 1991 to 1993. Now, I knew that, and I was surprised to find out most people don't. This is not some guy who was randomly chosen to be a stooge for Trump. This is somebody who served and left, and there were no problem. Well, there were some criticisms and some, of course, there's always politics, but he didn't leave in a disgraced manner. He wasn't impeached. He left. Trump brought him back. So why all of the insanity now? Why the claims, the accusations against him? Why do they want him removed? From Fox News, Barr under fire as Dems vow to investigate Attorney General and call for his impeachment. Why? It's because they don't like that he doesn't want Roger Stone to serve 9 years for lying. Let me tell you why I do not believe the media. I do not believe the Democrats. And I'll say it for the fourth time. I'm not claiming Trump is innocent, but boy, do I not trust the other side. Take a look at this. First, as I mentioned earlier, Andrew McCabe, ex-FBI, will not be charged in lying case. They say the decision to decline charges appears to be a move to distance the Justice Department from President Trump, who has long attacked Mr. McCabe. Trump supporters demanded this guy be charged, and they were shocked when the news came out he wasn't. If the DOJ was simply trying to appease Trump, wouldn't they go for it? Oh, but the argument now is, but they're trying to make it seem like they're not appeasing Trump. No, this is literally not appeasing Trump. Trump does not like this guy. I think it's fair to say that Bill Barr is acting independently to weed out what he sees as corruption. He's a guy who was the attorney general before. He's the attorney general again. I don't see what their claim is that he's doing anything wrong. But now we're going to get to the point about the corruption that needs to be weeded out. PolitiFact reports on a quote from Donald Trump that Hillary Clinton received a subpoena and then deleted 33,000 emails. I do not believe PolitiFact when they call it mostly true, but they do give us some important facts when they say, on March 4th, 2015, the Benghazi committee issues a subpoena requiring Clinton to turn over all emails from her private server related to the incident in Libya. Between March 25th and 31st, the Platte River Network's employee has what he calls an OS moment, realizing he did not delete Clinton's email archive. Per Mills's December 2014 request, the employee deletes the email archive using a software called BleachBit, and BleachBit is to make sure it can never be recovered. On March 27th, Clinton's lawyers send a letter to the Benghazi committee saying the State Department already has the relevant emails as they were included in the December 5th, 2014 turnover. They say Trump's timeline is correct. The congressional subpoena came on March 4th, and the employee deleted the emails on March 25th. However, the implication that Clinton deleted emails relevant to the subpoena in order to avoid scrutiny is unprovable, if not flat out wrong. That's not true at all. It is provable if we can get the emails. Now, I don't know if we can. They're probably gone, and where's the server? We'll probably never find out. But it doesn't matter. Hillary Clinton had 33,000 emails, and this individual, whether it was her or not, deleted them after a subpoena. I don't care what you say after that. The deed was done. But oh boy, does it get better. Well, first, the PolitiFact tries claiming, there's no way to prove it. And Hillary says they had nothing to do with anything. I don't care what she says. She deleted emails. I'd like to know what happened to them and why they were deleted. But of course, it gets worse, like I said. Watch CNN anchor's Disbelief that Clinton aides destroyed phones with hammer. So were public records, state records destroyed? Yes. And some of them in very crude and shocking ways, like smashing them with a hammer. Here's the point I'm making. You have a faction of people that actively defend Hillary Clinton, the people that were appointed under her in the administration of Obama in which she served, people that are accused of political bias, who gave Hillary Clinton money, and you have Hillary Clinton who deleted emails, regardless of whatever they were for, after a subpoena was received, regardless of why they were deleted. They were. Not a thing, not a peep. CNN, Disbelief that these phones were destroyed with a hammer. Yeah. Now, I can't tell you, again, why all this is going on, but now we have the next hero of the left. Another reason why I absolutely do not believe what they say about Trump and his campaign. What choice do I have? They propped up Michael Avenatti like some hero, and it turned out he was crooked, and he's been convicted of extortion. Meanwhile, they claim Trump is the bad guy, while you now have Michael Bloomberg propping up Democratic politicians and buying his way into the presidency. I'm sorry. I do not believe what they are saying. We have a record economy. Unemployment is down. Trump has all of these awful character defects. But it doesn't matter if I think he's right or wrong. It matters they've never proven their case. In fact, to the contrary. They've proven they get away with it every single time. Russiagate was fake news, and all it did was jam us up for years. Ukrainegate, also fake news. And when the Republicans try to go after Hunter Biden, and there is reason to suggest there's corruption there, they claim it's retaliation. They'll keep doing it. Meanwhile, their heroes are crooks. Going back to the start of Russiagate, and what I was saying about how it feels like this was just jamming Trump up. I don't know why. Maybe they really thought Russia was doing these crazy things, but it seems bunk considering the FBI lied several times, and a court has ruled 2 of 4 FISA warrants against Carter Page were declared invalid. But I want to show you why now the media is full of it. Take a look at this story from The Blaze. Katie Couric says she is shocked by Fox News after watching it makes her crazy. Did you know the media lies? You probably do. And it's probably why my channel's on a Google search blacklist and why they prevent my videos from coming up in autoplay search and try to funnel you over to Fox News. Fox News is safe for them, I suppose. I don't exactly know what their plan is or why they do it. It's probably just an overreaction due to bad press. But I often wonder why the press is targeting us so much. Well, the press lies. In this story, Katie Couric is shocked because she claims Fox News is an alternate universe. I gotta admit, it is. Did Fox News prop up Michael Avenatti and claim that he was going to be the Democratic primary contender? No. Did Fox News claim that Russiagate was true and that Trump was crooked? No. Was Fox News right? Yes. And Katie Couric now is saying it's an alternate reality that makes her crazy. Meanwhile, The Blaze points out Couric was caught deceptively editing an interview for a documentary advocating for gun control in 2016 and faced aggressive criticism from gun rights defenders. She was forced to apologize later, but attempted to shift the blame to the movie's director. They did a deceptive editing technique where she asks a question and then they used B-roll footage, meaning just like room shots, so no one's talking or saying anything, to make it look like these people had no answer to the question that was being posed. In short, the media lied. They used a manipulation to make you think one thing when it wasn't really happening. I'll throw it back to Vox when they say President Trump's interference with Roger Stone's sentencing shows the real lesson he took from impeachment, that he has impunity. I'll remind you that Matthew Iglesias of Vox once said that middle America does not believe they received a tax cut when they objectively had. This proves progressive messaging has worked. He was actually cheering the idea that progressives were lying about what was going on. Later on, he actually stated the economy is doing great and the Democrats' only choice is to lie. That's from Vox, the left-wing Vox.com. So when I hear that Bill Barr is having a review of these cases, when I hear that these prosecutors are resigning, the first thing I think is not, oh no, Trump is destroying the rule of law like they would try to, claim. The first thing I think is these people have been lying to us for years. Why should I believe that what they're saying now is true? They're just trying to get away with their partisan BS. And now they're getting caught. They will do anything to stop Trump because they are running on a campaign of morality, not economics, not American issues, not national issues. It's simple morality. Trump is immoral. We think so. He must be stopped. And they say they'll do anything to get rid of him, which is why second impeachment is on the horizon from McClatchy. McClatchy, by the way, also just filed for bankruptcy. Trump critics say another impeachment is not off the table. Could it really happen? It was Swalwell. It was Conway. Yep. Because of what Bill Barr is doing in getting rid of some of these people, because of the sentence recommendation for Roger Stone, because of now the review for Flynn, they're saying it's time to impeach Barr or impeach Trump. They'll never stop. Rest assured, there will be another investigation, as Pelosi has already called for one. I believe Schiff has as well. Once they launch an investigation, they'll claim any move made by Trump is simply an attempt to obstruct their investigation, which of course is nonsense. They've been trying that strategy nonstop. They've been doing it over and over again. As soon as impeachment was over, we saw the moves being made. The removal of 70 plus people. The anonymous writer, the guy who wrote that book, A Warning, Anonymous, apparently got fired. And we saw the request for documents from Republican senators. It seems like whatever is happening in government is a fight between two factions. Both will tell you they're noble and justified. And I got to say, I don't know or care who is telling the truth. What I do know, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't put it that way. I don't know or care who is the noble hero. What I do know is one side's been lying the whole time. The media establishment, the Democrats, have been misleading everybody. Rachel Maddow, for instance, for years, making the most insane, nonsensical claims about Russia and Trump, bringing on people who claimed Trump was a Russian asset since the 80s. So they're lying. So all I can really say is maybe Trump's lying. I don't know, but they are lying. So who am I supposed to believe? Honestly, it's tough, but I don't believe them. So I'm more than happy to sit back and let Bill Barr do his thing. We'll see what happens, though. They're going to launch another investigation. They're saying they're gonna. And they're going to try and jam Trump up all over again. And it might work. And they're going to hold out. That's the plan. That's what I'm seeing. Hold out until 2020 to try and beat Trump, Try and get in Michael Bloomberg, who's going to spend $400 million to subvert our democratic institutions. That way they can preserve their swamp, or whatever you want to call it. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. youtube.com/TimCastNews, and I will see you all there.